The city of Toronto isn't just satisfied with being a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants. They're now taking it upon themselves to advocate for regularizing illegal immigrants across the country. That means, in English, putting illegal immigrants on a pathway to permanent residency and eventually citizenship. Last week in the building behind me, the city hosted its first ever Undocumented Residents Day, in which the Deputy Mayor of Toronto, Asma Malik, advocated for regularizing all undocumented residents and said that immigration rules uphold systems of colonialism and anti-black racism.
We amplify calls from community leaders and advocates for an immediate, broad, and inclusive regularization program that provides pathways to permanent resident status for all undocumented residents. Together, we will continue to dismantle systems of colonialism and anti-black racism, and we reflect on the enhanced vulnerability that racialized communities with precarious immigration status experience.
Funny that we're now being told by far-left radical activists masquerading as political leaders that immigration rules uphold systems of colonialism and anti-black racism, when in reality, the immigration rules in place in this country right now have facilitated record population growth. How racist are these immigration rules if we're getting millions of people into this country every single year through different streams of our immigration rules? And according to activist groups like the Migrant Rights Network, there could be up to 500,000 illegals living in Canada. 500,000 illegals. And the politicians behind me, including Olivia Chow, it would seem, want to give permanent residency and citizenship to all 500,000 illegals. Well, what does that mean for those that immigrated to this country legally? What does that mean for the rules that we have had in place for many years now to facilitate proper immigration, not illegal immigration in this country? If the argument is that immigration rules uphold systems of colonialism and anti-black racism, then why have immigration rules at all? Why not just have a complete open border and let anyone into this country with any background, any set of skills? Because according to the activists inside City Hall, immigration rules are simply just racist. Well, we're going to ask people in this city what they think about these statements made by the Deputy Mayor of Toronto. We're going to ask them if they think undocumented residents or illegal immigrants should be given citizenship in this country, and what they think about immigration rules in general. Should there be immigration rules at all? Or should we just have a completely open border and let anyone into this country? Let's see what the residents of Toronto have to say.
I feel like there shouldn't be borders at all.
You don't think so?
No.
So you think that immigration rules are just, well, the city says that immigration rules uphold colonialism and anti-black racism. Do you agree with that?
I agree with the city taking all of our tax money and not being accountable for it. I don't know about the immigration. Immigrants built this country, so we need immigrants. We do. We let in 1.3 million this year, the most ever, and I don't think they're to blame for the hardships we're going through. I think it's just lack of management, because we get paid more. We pay more than our fair share of taxes. Like with all these skyscrapers going up, I was thinking about it last night. 25 years ago, they weren't expecting to have this many skyscrapers. Where's all this money going? Why
do you think homes, for example, have doors and gates to provide security? Do you think that there's a difference there? Like, don't you think a country should be able to determine who and who doesn't come into their country and live there?
Did the natives get to determine who got to come here?
The natives,
the indigenous people of this country.
Well, I suppose not, but every other country has immigration rules. What do you think about that? Do you think that it's right for some countries to have immigration rules and not others?
No, I just think that people should be able to move freely in this world.
They're advocating for the federal government to grant illegal immigrants permanent residency. What do you make of that?
I'm not so sure. It all depends on deserving cases, if you have to review individually, and if they are worth it, they ought to, otherwise they should be thrown out.
Do you think that something like this incentivizes people to not follow the rules that many people did by coming to this country, by following the immigration rules?
That is true, they didn't follow the rules. But the problem with following the rules, I would say a challenge for them, is that have you ever heard or read of the lineup and the bureaucracy involved in following the rule for immigration.
Oh, I've heard, yes.
Well, there you have it. You have your answer right there. Now, so if they were to make it efficient system to follow the rules in which they can reject or accept thing, and I think that will be far better than trying to create an incentive for the illegal bunch.
Most of the immigrants come here because they're brought in as temporary workers,
Well,
that
of course,
sort of
those
thing.
are the legal ones. I'm talking about those that have entered the country illegally or overstayed their visas. So it's particularly
overstayed
for,
their visas,
for
yes.
that. Do you agree with that call?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wh-
and why is that?
Because if we were to send all the illegal immigrants back, as you're calling them, the construction industry in this city would fall apart. These are people who are working, have jobs, are paying taxes off their wages, and they get nothing for it.
But those that
This
are here-
is not the Canadian way of doing things. Apparently it is. So yeah, we are not friendly to those people who are coming here and are contributing. So yes, we regularize them, absolutely.
Okay, because if you're here illegally, then you wouldn't be able to work a proper wage because you wouldn't be able to have a bank account. So those that are working and are illegal would be working under the table. So
Perhaps.
temporary foreign workers
Perhaps.
and permanent residents, they can work. See what I mean?
Paying under the table, you know that? You know that's going on?
Well, I mean,
No,
if you're an illegal,
you're making it up.
undocumented.
You're making it up.
Okay.
You don't know how they get their paychecks. Most of them have to pay the same kind of tax as we do and get nothing for it. So yes, absolutely, those people need to be regularized. We're taking advantage of them as we do with temporary foreign workers and a lot of other people. We ask them to come in, contribute to the country, and give them very little back. And then when we're tired of them, we send them back.
So you
No,
think-
that is not the way we should be doing
You
things.
think deportation should end for all illegal immigrants in the city in Canada? That's the city wants.
You're stretching it. What we're doing is if somebody commits a crime,
Right.
then they go into the criminal justice system. Otherwise, let's treat them like my grandfather was treated, who came here from England without any documents, got himself a job, and settled here, and I'm a result of that. It was okay to do it when it was British citizens, part of the empire. If you were white, then it was okay. Now we're in a different time, and suddenly it's not Canadian to keep these people. Yeah, regularize people who are coming here to do the same thing I'm assuming your grandparents did and my grandparents did.
We're asking Torontonians if they agree with the City Hall last week that they called to give status to all undocumented residents in Canada. Do you agree with that call?
Yeah, sounds great.
And why is that?
No one's illegal, man.
So do you think that people who are undocumented, who have not followed the immigration rules, do you think that impacts those that have their immigration status?
No.
And why not?
Because, listen, we got jobs for everyone. We got more than enough to go around. It's about how it's distributed.
The last question I have for you is the deputy mayor last week said that immigration rules uphold systems of colonialism and anti-black racism. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the immigration rules are racist in nature?
Yes. Look at how open we were to Ukrainians versus how open we are to refugees in the conflicts that are happening now, not just in Palestine, but in Congo, Sudan. We're not taking anywhere near the level we are, and it's because we have a preferential treatment for white people coming to this country.
It's good to welcome people into our country because our country is already, we have so much land that is not being used. So why not put it to good use?
Do you think that this would reward those that have broken the law and then disincentivize others to follow immigration laws in the future?
I think that, giving people crap for immigrating, even if it is illegally, is wrong because it's still, they're most likely fleeing from a situation that is not good for them. So I think it would actually, if we welcomed people, I think it would help, in making people feel like they could come legally to Canada.
And the last question I have for you is the deputy mayor last week said that the immigration rules uphold systems of colonialism and anti-black racism. Do you agree with that?
That it upholds it? That
Yeah,
allowing
that-
immigrants upholds?
No, that the current immigration rules upholds systems of colonialism and anti-black racism.
I think so, yes.
And why is that?
Well, because it's basically just not allowing people of color to enter Canada if they want to.